What if I told you the biggest threat to your dinner plate isn't global markets, droughts, or supply chains, but the people writing policies in Ottawa? Because the new food cost numbers are in, and they're not slightly concerning. They're a five-alarm fire for every Canadian family. A Dalhousie University report now shows that a family will spend roughly $16,800 on groceries next year, almost $800 more than the year before, one of the biggest increases on record. The trend has been clear for months. Food inflation keeps outperforming inflation itself. And if you're wondering why your grocery bill looks like a mortgage payment, you won't find the explanation in the produce aisle. You'll find it in government policy books. And that brings us to Prime Minister Mark Carney, a leader who told Canadians he should be judged by the cost of groceries. So let's judge. The core policies this government champions, industrial carbon pricing on farm equipment and fertilizer, new packaging restrictions, regulatory costs on processors, were all sold as modernization and sustainability. But here's the reality behind those elegant talking points. When you tax the farmer, right arrow, you tax the food. When you tax the processor, right arrow, you tax the food. When you tax the transporter, right arrow, you tax the food. These are not theoretical models. These are upstream costs passed directly to consumers, confirmed repeatedly by StatsCan's CPI data and the 2025 Food Price Report. Farmers don't have immediate low-carbon tractors waiting in a showroom. Fertilizer alternatives don't appear overnight. Food processors already operate on tight margins, and when regulations drive packaging or input costs higher, they do what any business must do: they pass it on. The result? Canadians aren't buying green policy. They're buying the price tag attached to it. Now here's where the analysis gets serious. Carney's design failure isn't that climate goals are wrong, it's that the timing and targeting are disastrous. Timing. Families are still coming down from the most aggressive inflation surge in 4 decades. Savings are down, debt loads are up. And into that environment, the government layered new industrial charges that hit food at every stage of production. Not slowly, immediately. Targeting. A smart policy protects affordability during the transition. This one doesn't. There are no major offset mechanisms for farmers, no targeted rebates for low-income families specifically tied to food inflation, and no transitional funds for equipment modernization at the scale required. If affordability is step 1 and sustainability is step 2, this government skipped straight to step 2 and told Canadians to trust the process. Well, the process is now at the checkout, and Canadians are done trusting. Meanwhile, the opposition, specifically Pierre Poilievre, has taken a different stance. Stop hidden grocery taxes, protect working families, and bring immediate, measurable relief. Not in 2030, not after a global summit. Now. Love him or not, Poilievre has positioned himself as the only national figure consistently warning that upstream costs become grocery costs. And every month, the data proves the point. The Conservatives argue for rolling back carbon charges on food production, reducing regulatory burdens on processors, and implementing targeted affordability mechanisms, not slogans, but tool-by-tool corrections. And here's the irony. If the government wanted their climate agenda to survive politically, they should have done exactly that. Instead, they treated affordability as a communications problem instead of a structural flaw. The public isn't buying the messaging because they can't afford the groceries. Now let's talk about Carney's broader approach. The bill he's pushing forward, framed as modernization, adds new regulatory layers around food production and processing. But the government has not produced a costed impact assessment showing how much this bill will add to the price of food, nor has it presented a timeline for transitional supports. Without transparency, the public is expected to accept the bill on faith, even while paying record-high grocery bills. This isn't smart governance. It's hoping people won't connect policy to price, but Canadians are connecting it every time they tap their card at checkout. And this is the political arc. Carney asked to be judged by grocery costs. Poilievre says, perfect, let's judge. And the results show a government that imposed costs first and planned later. Here's the real benchmark Canadians should demand from any leader: short-term affordability protection, transitional supports for farmers and processors, transparent tracking of which policies raise food prices. That's the minimum standard. And right now, only one side of Parliament is demanding it. While the government pushes through regulations that raise costs without clear mitigation, Poilievre has crafted the narrative of a safeguard. Someone saying, enough, before the next set of hidden grocery taxes lands silently on family budgets. This debate isn't about left or right. It's about whether working families can afford basic food in a G7 country. And if this government wants to be judged at the checkout, they will be. This is red leaf politics, cutting through the noise, exposing the facts, and putting Canada back in the hands of the people. If you want truth without the spin, accountability without excuses, and leadership that puts Canadians first, you're in the right place. Stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, Canada deserves better. Red Leaf Politics signing off.